Welcome to this week's episode of Body Image Confidential, a series where I take viewers' questions or challenges that they're experiencing around making peace with their body. So, for this week, I have a question from Claire, and she says, how can we be grateful and appreciate our bodies when they are suffering from disease, pain, or are disabled? It almost feels I can't be truly grateful unless my body is in perfect health. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you. So, Claire, thank you so much for submitting this question. I think that this is so common, particularly if we're experiencing pain, discomfort, and like you said, some disability in the body. Our minds are always going to look for the fault in something. They're going to look for what's wrong because our minds are problem making machines. They're also always looking out for our survival. So it makes sense that if we're in perfect health, we feel safe. And then anything that might be straying from that, our mind is going to hone in on it and say, how can I fix this problem? But the issue becomes when we have this belief or idea that it's impossible for us to be happy unless our body is a certain way. That is actually a belief. There are some of the best motivational speakers actually that I've come across are people who, were born without arms, or actually, I think there's a guy on Instagram and I've got to find it, but he has no legs and no arms. And he's a motivational speaker talking about saying, hey, like you think that, you can't do something without challenges. I'm here to show you that you can. And so it really truly lies in our mindset and our perspective. It's just that it can be so easy to be constantly looking at the negative. And that's the thing about the mind is that even if you are closer to your idea of perfect health, it's in this habit, it's always still going to find the thing that's just not right. And so we know this. People can be in really good health, but then, oh, I wish I could lose 10 pounds. Like it's always going to look for the negative. And that's what actually robs us of our peace and our happiness, not the condition of our body. And I can understand when pain is involved because, again, the mind is going to hone in on the pain. What's really interesting is in my weekly 10-minute guided meditations, there's a woman who sometimes joins and she struggles with chronic pain. And she was telling me that after the meditation, she would notice that her pain would actually decrease in the meditation. And it was really because she wasn't focused on it. So for a moment, her attention was actually moved away from the pain in her body. And when that happened, she viscerally had less pain in her body. So where our attention goes makes a huge difference. And we can often be really addicted. It's like a habitual pattern of thinking to focus on the negative. So, this is the invitation to shift the focus to the positive. What is one thing that you can be grateful for, even really small, that is okay in your body right now? Like, can you see? Can you see without pain? Can you breathe? Is there something that's going okay? I mean, I notice this where if I ever I've hurt my foot, and it's like I just realize how often I take for granted being able to walk without pain until I hurt my foot, and every single step is painful. So it's really a retraining of our mind. And I'm going to tell you, at least from my experience, it's not always easy to do. I'm in a constant shifting of my mind away from the thoughts that bring stress and pain to A, what's here right now if I didn't have a thought, and B, what is a thought that feels better? So we can use our emotions as our guidance system to let us know if our attention is focused on thinking that is actually making us feel worse emotionally or making us feel better. So it's a practice. There's always something that we can find that we can be grateful for, or that we can notice is working well. And this is why I'm always telling people to join my weekly meditations, because the pain is actually coming from the chatter in our mind. And what meditation does is it drops us out of the mind into an awareness that's not our thinking. And when we can sit in that space, we have a different experience, and it's really powerful. So if you're not already doing my weekly meditations, sign up. I'll put a link. If you are watching this on Instagram or Facebook, you can comment meditation and I'll DM you a link for that. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can just look at the link in the description. All right. Okay, Claire, I hope that was helpful. Just remember, there's always something that we can be grateful for. It is just a habit of the mind to always keep focusing on the negative. And it's really like a consistent effort to keep shifting into what's positive, and more so, notice what's here when there is no thought. It's so powerful. Thank you so much for submitting the question. And if one of you, a viewer, has a question for me that you would like to answer on an upcoming Body Image Confidential, just send me a DM or put it in the comments. I would love to be able to talk about it in a future episode.